Let's meet a man who can give us both sides. He's basically the man of the hour. He's going to talk personal experience. Please welcome Hugo Schwyzer. Welcome, Hugo. I got to say, you got a little swing in your step. Okay. So you were uncircumcised until the age of 37. You made the decision. Why at that age?
Well, really, there were two reasons. One thing we haven't talked about as a possible consideration for circumcision is that, as most people know, when you're having sex, the foreskin retracts. And what can happen, especially if you're having sex without a condom, is that the foreskin can roll back very fast and very painfully. And when I was in college, I had a sexual experience that sent me to the emergency room and gave me 5 stitches. So that was the first sign that...
Well, you know, I can't help but get a visual of what you must have been doing to end up in the emergency room.
Well, I want to be clear that it wasn't, something really kinky. That would have, there were no blades involved. It was, it was basic intercourse between a man and a woman. The doctors would know this as frenular tearing. And obviously, different men have different levels of, it's not the medical term, retractability. And maybe mine was a little less retractable than some others. But I've talked to other guys over the years who've also had trouble with this. And after this first experience of, going to the emergency room, which was painful and humiliating, after that first experience, I, spent many, many years afterwards often being very anxious, very worried. Is it going to happen again? Is it going to happen again? So that was
Which is kind of a bummer when you want to be sexually active and be free to always have that in the back of your mind.
Absolutely. And you develop little tricks and techniques. What happens is that you have to be constantly aware. Whereas as a circumcised man, that constant vigilance isn't necessary.
So okay, so you are married, right?
Yes.
So your wife has got to experience both sides of you.
Yep.
And so how is it different? What was the procedure like? We all are dying to know. Was it painful?
Is there discomfort? You bet. I will say I've broken an arm and I've passed a kidney stone, and those were both much worse. And if you've ever broken a bone or, passed a kidney stone or had other things.
Or had a baby.
Or had a baby. And I've watched my wife give birth, and my pain wouldn't even, be anywhere. It was nothing compared to that.
Okay. And how is the recovery?
The recovery, it's just really quickly, it's a procedure where, and I don't know how every doctor does this. I had it done by a urologist, outpatient. They numb the penis in 2 places. This is for an adult circumcision, not for a child. Right at the base of the penis and then right around the head of the penis.
Ow!
And it was done with a laser, not a scalpel.
We learn something new every day, don't we, people? And you learned it on the Ricky Lake Show. Okay. So how long has it been since you had that procedure?
That was 8 years ago.
And so no regrets? No
regrets at all. In terms of my sex life with my wife, without going into details, too many details.
Oh, please do.
I can tell you, even if she weren't eventually going to see this, this is the best sex of my life. And
wow, good on ya.
And the real.
And you have a son. I know you have a son. Did you choose to circumcise him?
I did choose to circumcise my son. Yeah. And partly, and we can get into some of the reasons for that. But the one point that I really wanted to make sure I got in was there's this myth that there's this dramatic loss of sensation that circumcised men have. That
yes,
a man
I've
who was
heard that.
circumcised as a little boy is somehow going to go through his entire life missing out on something. And having had plenty of experience both ways, I can assure anybody there's no noticeable reduction in sensation. Really.
Right.
If it was at a level 10 before, it's at a level 10 now.